come to you today with some resources for parents from Clearfork Academy out in Fort Worth. So number one, guys, I'm not in recovery. And so the very first thing I had to do 10 years ago was grab my big book, right? This is the Alcoholics Anonymous. This one is like a journal version. Right, you can't operate in substance abuse treatment without the big book, right? So the first thing I did was read this about 100 times, made tabs, made notes, created my own like appendix. Like I was teaching step studies to a bunch of old timers, right? I'm a young punk kid who's not in the program. But the big book, if you're a parent, I want you to just go get a big book and just read through it. Read the doctor's story. Read and understand sort of the compulsivity and the things that kids are going through, and what addiction looks like, what it doesn't look like, and then how to help. Right. And so I don't have like any Al-Anon materials, but right next to that is the sister program in Al-Anon. So I would reach out and I would grab some of those books as well. Go to the websites, both AA and Al-Anon.com. Both have significant resources. Number two resource for parents is a book that I use sort of in my leadership. It's called Radical Candor, how to be a kick-ass boss. I did say that on our podcast. Without losing your humanity. And so she does this quadrant about how to communicate and have like sort of boundaries and expectations, and how do those look? I see so many times that our parents either give their wallet to the kid and say, hey, get out of the way, pat them on the head for their bad mistakes, or they lock them in a cage, right, proverbially, and not really have any expectations clearly drawn of why they're in that. So she does a good leadership communication style on how to set boundaries and expectations and rewards and things like that. Lastly, is Ed Welch, Addictions, A Banquet in the Grave. This has been a sort of a keystone for me throughout my addiction career. I keep going back to it. I lead groups from it. I take concepts and ideas out of this. And I think if you've got a teenager struggling with substance abuse or even mental health, that book would really apply, because it's really about finding hope in the power of the gospel and the power of faith, Christianity, but it's a very scientific approach. And so it talks about sort of the maladaptive patterns of behavior. How does like shame work? And is addiction a sin? Is addiction a disease? How do all those things kind of work together? And Ed does a really, really good job of compiling what I think is the best approach to resources. So those are kind of my three, just off the top of my head, that I go to, that sit on my bookshelf right next to me. Parents, if you're struggling and need more resources, go to clearforkacademy.com. We've got a glossary of just kind of terms, right? It's not exhaustive, but it's a list of terms that you can connect with. Our phone number is in the top right-hand corner. Call us. We've got 4 or 5 folks like full-time on site, standing by to answer questions. Hey, what's going on with my kid? So again, that's clearforkacademy.com. And this is Austin Davis signing off from Clearfork Academy out in Fort Worth. Thank you guys. Have a great day.